Good morning all, I am Arunava Chakraborty, Assistant Professor of Kingston School of Management and Science of BBA Department. Today we are going to do yet another chapter, that is overhead. So at first we have to know what is overhead. Overhead is basically the indirect expenses, means in any case, in any kind of production there are few direct expenses and there are few indirect expenses. Direct expenses are those expenses without which the production is not possible, that is direct labor, direct material and direct expenses. But there are some kind of indirect expenses, means they are not directly involved in the production, but in somehow they are involved in the production, and with these kind of expenses for the smooth production these expenses are required. Suppose the canteen for the laborers, but the canteen is not essential for the production of something, means of a product, but to when we are deploying labor in any kind of production function, then we have to arrange for the canteen also. So that is the indirect expenses, means the whole money which got stuck into that indirect expenses, we have to divide that money into the production function. That means that in the cost of the final product we have to add these indirect expenses. So there are few terms in case of indirect expenses, that is allocation of indirect expenses. Allocation means when we are going for any production function, there are few direct expenses and indirect expenses, but indirect expenses are not for a particular department. There are few departments, and for each and every department these indirect expenses are being apportioned. So at first we have to allocate the indirect expenses in particular department, but in case of if we do not get any kind of particular department for any expense, then we are going to apportion the expenses within various departments. Suppose the canteen expenses. In the canteen, all the department staff are going to the canteen, all the laborers are going to the canteen. So it is not possible to have a clear-cut knowledge about which country, about which particular department is more using the canteen. So because all the staff from all the departments are coming to canteen, so we have to apportion the whole cost of the canteen within these departments on a suitable basis. All the departments have few employees. In suppose there are 5 departments, A, B, C, D, E, and all the departments have some employees. One department has 20, another department has 30, one department has 15. On the basis of that employees, we are going to apportion the canteen expenses into various departments. So all the expenses, all the indirect expenses we have in our hand, we have to apportion on a suitable basis. And this is the main theme of this particular chapter, of this particular sum, that there are some indirect expenses and we have to apportion the indirect expenses to the production department. Means there are production department and there are service department. So all these indirect expenses related to the service department should be apportioned to the production department, and the cost of this service department should be added to the cost of production department, and at last we will fetch the cost of the product. Let's have a look in this example. A factory has 3 production department, P1, P2, P3, and 2 service department, S1, S2. Following overheads are the information extracted from the books. Expenses and amount: rent, repair, depreciation, lighting, supervision, fire insurance, stock, ESI contribution, power. See, all these expenses are indirect expenses, and you cannot say that which department consume how much expenses, because rent is for the overall factory, repair is for the overall, depreciation is the overall assets of the, so there is a gross amount. So how could you fetch the value of particular asset or particular department, that how much that particular department has incurred expenses? Lighting is the for a whole factory, so how could you fetch that particular value of incurred particular expenses and amount of expenses incurred by that particular department? So for that, the following information is given. This is the particulars of P1, P2, P3 and S1, S2. Area of square foot given, number of workers of each and every department given, wages given, value of plant given, stock value given, horsepower of plant given. So allocate or apportion the overheads, means you have to apportion the overhead or allocate where you can. Allocate means where you have direct department, you can transfer the money of that particular service department to particular point of the particular department. But in case of apportionment, if there is no particular department for that particular expenses, means if the expenses is incurred in each and every department, then you have to apportion on a suitable basis. So these are the basis, these particulars are the basis, and these are the expenses. We have to apportion these expenses on the basis of this chart. Okay, so you just go through this. P1, P2 is the basis. Here P1, P2, P3, S1, S2 is, this chart is the basis, and you have to apportion these expenses on the basis of this chart. Solution, the primary distribution, just see expenses, rent, repair, depreciation, you just write down all the expenses here. Okay, and total expenses, basis, rent, on the basis of area we are spending, we are paying rent. Rent is paid on the basis of the area, on the square feet, rent is paid on square feet. So you just go through the P1, P2, P3, S1, S2. So the square feet is 400, 300, 270, 150, and so make a ratio of the area square foot. 400 is to 300 is to 270, 150, 80. Cut the 0, 40, 30, 27, 15 and 8. So you cannot cut this because it is not divisible by one particular digit. So you just add this 120. So total rent value is given 6,000. So 6,000 divided by 120 into 40. 40 is the ratio for the P1. So it comes to 2,000. You just see here 2,000. Next 6,000 by 120 into 30. This is the same. First portion is same, 6,000 by 120, and so 6,000 is the total expenses, and 120 how do you get? By adding this ratio. So for 1500. So in this way you just put it here. Now repair is based, repair is 3600, the 3600. Repair is based on the planned value, just because area square foot, that is not suitable, number of workers not suitable, wages not suitable, value of plant, we are going to repair the plant is being repaired, so value of plant. Now make a ratio, 72 is to 54 is to 48 is to 6, just we are cutting the zeros, 72, 54, 48 and 6. So you can again cut it, 72, 54, 48 and 6 by 3 to the 6. This is 16, this is 18, this is 24. 24 is to 18 is to 16 is to 2. Again you can cut it by 2, so will be the ratio, and on the basis of ratio you will get the P1, P2, S1, and there is no S2, so we are putting a dash in case of S2. So in this way we are going to do the sum.